Hello everyone, welcome at a new episode of the Pure Gospel on the Flat Earth. My name is Jouke Elsinga. Today we're going to talk about God, meaning and morality. Some time ago I discovered a video made by Dr. Timothy Keller, and it was about the topic of meaning. And what surprised him is the fact that people are so busy in their everyday life, but they spend so little time thinking about what life is about.
The average person is so busy in both work and play that you ratchet around for years and years without asking yourself, what is my reason for doing all this? What is my reason for life? Most of us run around and we're afraid to ask that question. What am I really getting to? What am I really accomplishing? What's my reason for doing things? A good example of that is if I saw one of you after the service and after the program here, and I said to you, tomorrow at 2:30, meet me at the corner of 86th and Park Avenue. And you said, why? I said, just meet me there. You'd want to know the reason. And you're busy people. You're probably very busy people. You're doing a lot of important things. And you would say, hey, if I'm going to spend my time, if I'm going to spend an hour getting to see you, seeing you, and getting back or more, there has to be a reason for it or I'm not going to do it. Okay, that's fair enough. You want a reason. And yet, if I ask most of you, what is your reason for your whole life? What is the reason you're doing your job? What is the reason that you're getting married? What is the reason you want to get married? What are you after? When your life is all over, what will you have really accomplished? Many of you will not be able to give an answer.
As Tim Keller points out, obviously, if you are so busy in your everyday life, then life itself should have a bigger meaning. Not only those small activities should have meaning by themselves, but also life itself. Now, there are certain scientists, especially those who promote atheism and the evolutionary theory, someone like Richard Dawkins, who want to get rid of the topic of meaning and who want to get rid of meaning itself. And this is what he has to say. He's saying that there's no good, no evil, nothing but blind, pitiless indifference. A philosopher called Alfred North Whitehead had the following to say about scientists who are animated by their own purposelessness. If life itself is purposeless and if all our activities are purposeless, then what's the very point of saying this, of pointing that out? So why is he even mentioning this? Why is he even talking about this? Well, I think it has to do with what we can read in Romans 1, that people suppress the truth in unrighteousness. People don't like to think about God, because if God exists, then we need to follow His rules, basically. And that is also why, according to Albert Camus, modern people don't believe in God.
He says, we modern people believe in absolute freedom. Many of us don't believe in God at all. Many of us don't believe in a God that you can know. In other words, modern people generally either believe in no God or they believe there's no God you can really know. And therefore, we believe in no God or no God you can really know because we believe in freedom. If there was a God, and if there was a God that we could know, who told us how we had to live, and who gave us the rules and the regulations, well, then we wouldn't be free.
So according to Albert Camus and according to many humanists, we should not believe in God because then we would not be free. Then He would limit us in all kinds of ways. So how should we respond to this? Is this actually the case, or is it actually the other way around, that basically God wants us to be free and God offers us freedom but within certain borders, and that if these borders would not be there, then we would be less free? Obviously that's a very important topic to talk about, and I will say certain things in response to what Albert Camus has to say. So Albert Camus basically suggests that we should not believe in God because then we would be free. A contradiction that he is creating is a false one, because there will always be rules, otherwise you will have complete anarchy and chaos, and no one wants to live in such kind of system, basically. No one wants to live in a situation in which it is okay to kill other people and to take all their belongings and to lie and steal and to do all kinds of other things, because there are no rules and there is no law enforcement. So you don't want to live in such kind of a situation, and it's not the case that people will do the right thing by themselves. Humanism will lead to the attitude of profiteers, people who are chasing after their own interests, basically, because humanism might want to make it seem as if they say, well, you should figure out what the meaning in your life is yourself, and you should make up what is right and wrong yourself. You yourself should determine the standard for right and wrong, or the society as a whole, and that is how you will come to just regulations. In fact, they are reasoning in a different way, so it is easy to talk that way, but what's in the head of a humanist basically is that he wants to chase his own desires. That is what he wants, and because he has the idea that God limits him in chasing his desires, he wants to suppress the notion of his existence and being responsible, accountable towards him. So I think that is basically the real problem that we are facing here. But we see what this kind of view leads up to, namely the fact that people are chasing their selfish desires, and we see the dreadful consequences of that attitude all the time. We see the problems of corrupt people all the time. We see the problems of lying politicians. We see the problems of deceiving the masses and not wanting to be accountable for that. That is exactly why we are in this situation right now. And the only solution to this problem is when people are stopping with following their own selfish desires and are stopping with the attitude that it's okay to be benefiting from others, to be profiteering from others while causing harm to them, as long as no one else notices it. So this kind of attitude is exactly the problem, and is exactly why there's so much pain and suffering and so much inequality and so much injustice in the world. So what we should do is serving one another in love and raise the standard for morality, and should not assess other people based upon the ability of profiteering within the system. No, we should judge people based upon how righteous they are, how much their actions line up to what we know is right. And this idea that right and wrong do not exist and that everything is relative, that's a complete garbage. It's of no use, and it will only lead to immorality. This is what we can read in the Bible about the profiteer attitude. Let's go to Jeremiah 17 verse 9. The heart is deceitful above all things and beyond cure. Who can understand it? Also, we read in the Bible that God will punish profiteers. All of us also lived among them at one time, gratifying the cravings of our flesh and following its desires and thoughts. Like the rest, we were by nature deserving of wrath. So, I will challenge all my viewers right now to go the difficult route, the route of Christ, who came to serve others in love instead of being served by others, and to go that route, to not think about yourself, not about your own desires, but to chase what really matters in life, and that is the meaning that God put in life, and has to do with the message of the kingdom and in following Christ in order to enter into the kingdom. So that is the only hope there is for mankind. Let us follow truth and do what is right, serve one another in love, following Christ. There you have it for today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also contact me. I would appreciate that. Thank you all for watching, and we hope to see you in the next episode of the Pure Gospel on the Flat Earth.